Hello everyone. The topic we cover today is micro-teaching. So, micro-teaching, we can say it is an important teaching method. It is a preparation of a teacher, we can say. While coming to the teaching, we can say that the teaching, it is a complex activity which involves simultaneous application of different skills. So, while coming to an experienced teacher or to become a good teacher, achieving these skill at a single stretch, it is not possible. So, there it comes the role of micro teaching, and we can say that the micro teaching, it is mainly used to prepare the student teacher, or for a beginner teachers it will be useful. And while coming to this one, the concept of micro teaching, which is given by Dr. Allen and his group in the year of 1963, and they have started this in America for improving the teaching skill or to prepare a new teachers. He had started with this particular concept, and he had given the definition of micro teaching, a simplest definition he had given. So, he had given that micro teaching, it is a scale down process, it is a scale down activity, or it is a scale down encounter in class time and strength of class. So, the definition itself, it says that in micro teaching, it includes a less number of people in the classroom, and the time also will be very less. So, everyone knows that in a particular class, it takes approximately 40 minutes or 45 minutes for a particular class, and the strength of the class may be 30, 40 or 60. But in the micro teaching, the class time will be reduced and the number of people will be reduced. So, we will see later what are the elements of this micro teaching, and we will see the purpose of micro teaching. So, the main purpose, the micro teaching, which prepare a specific skill for a particular teacher. Then in the micro teaching, it is mainly useful for new teacher or beginner teacher to gain new skill, and for an experienced teacher which will helpful to improve their teaching skill. These are the main purposes of micro teaching. And now we will see the micro teaching cycle or cycle of micro teaching. So, while coming to the micro teaching cycle, which includes a planning, all the micro teaching we start with a planning. The planning is the first phase of micro teaching. There is a planning, then it comes the teaching, then it comes the feedback, then the replan, reteaching, refeedback, and which continues as a cycle. It again continues with the planning. So, in the planning, the teacher will plan for which type of skill I want to conduct, or which type of skill I want to get the knowledge, and the teacher will prepare a micro lesson plan in this particular stage, that is the first stage planning. Then with this particular micro lesson plan, the teacher will be, the student teacher or the beginner teacher will be going to implement this one. They are going to teach that one, teach the students, the teaching phase, and after teaching phase immediately they have to get a feedback. There will be a supervisor also, the nurse educator, or there will be experienced educator will be there, they will supervise them. And from the students as well as that educator, they will get a feedback. After this one, next step comes the replanning. So, the same skill they will replan for another 10 minutes, and they will go for a reteaching. The reteaching which takes place for another group of people, and from that people they will go for a refeedback, and that cycle will be continuing. So, with this one, the skill of the teacher will be improved. Now, we will see what are the elements or what may be the main components of the micro teaching. So, while coming to these elements, already we have seen in the definition, it is a scale down activity in number of or the size of class or the time, there will be a reduced time. So, that is the we can say the elements, the main element will be that one, the micro elements we used in the micro teaching. The micro element in the sense, there will be less number of people. The best ideal group will be 5 to 10 members will be present in this micro teaching classes, and the time For the teaching time, we are giving 5 to 6 minutes. Only 5 to 6 minutes the teacher will be explaining or teaching a particular skill. So that is the micro element. There will be a less number of people and the time will be less, say like 5 to 6 minutes, and there will be a feedback for another 5 minutes, and we'll give a 10 minutes time for them replanning, and again the reteaching will takes place for another 5 minutes, and another 5 minutes will give for the re-feedback. So these are the micro elements we use for the micro teaching. And another important element in this micro teaching, we will see only a particular or a specific skill at a time. So maybe like the explanation, how they are explaining, or the introduction, how they are doing the introduction, or using the blackboard, or any of the teaching skill, especially the blackboard we are using here. Okay, the skill to use, how to use the blackboard, or skill in using blackboard, that technique we'll see in a specific 5-minute time. Only that much we can observe for the teacher. Okay, that is the elements of micro teaching. So now we'll see the principles of micro teaching. So while coming to the principle, the main principle, there is an enforcement. So in the enforcement, it related to the feedback. The teacher is getting the feedback. That is the main principle. Then the practice and drill. To improve this particular teaching skill, we need a practice or exercise. That is another important principle. And the next one, continuity. That means the micro teaching, it is a continuous process. We have seen already the cycle. There is the planning, teaching, feedback, reteaching, replanning, refeedback. Like that, it is a cycle, it is a continuous process. And there is a microscopic supervision. That is the important aspect of micro teaching. The microscopic supervision in the sense, like it is equal to, everyone knows that what is the use of microscope. With the microscope, we can find out the minute organism. So the same way, in the micro teaching, there will be an experienced teacher or educator. They will supervise all the activities, even the minute activities of the teacher. It includes the verbal communication, it includes the non-verbal communication, that means the gestures and postures, how the teacher has to stand, what are the actions they do, how they use the blackboard, everything will be observed like a microscope. The microscopic observation will be taken place in micro teaching. So these are the principles of micro teaching. And there are certain advantages and disadvantages. If you see the advantage, mainly it is a student centered method, because the student or the teacher will be explaining. So it is all the importance will be given to that person, the student centered method, and a particular specific skill will be improved in this method, and the disciplinary problems will be under observation with this micro teaching. And the disadvantage, it need more planning, it is a time consuming, and only a limited number of people will be there in the micro teaching. Okay, that's all regarding the micro teaching, and this is for this is all for today's class. This is Vishant signing off till we meet the next class.